Hey y'all, one more again. Welcome to another video here on the Political Chop Shop with your man here. We're going to get into something that's a little bit more egregious than what we've talked about previously when it's come to these elections and the fraud that can happen and all the nonsense that the other side is claiming, that people that are claiming that cannot happen, that is actually happening and has been documented. And my opinion from the outset of this is, how can you deny these claims? Oh, it's only a couple here and a couple there, right? Do you play with your rights like that? Do you play with your individual rights like that? Oh, it's just a little bit here. I'll give up a little bit here. They'll take the whole thing from you, right? The whole damn thing from you because you gave them an inch and they took 2 kilometers, right? Let's just keep that real, right? We have to safeguard our rights for ourselves. These are individual rights, not group rights, not collective rights, but our individual rights. Remember that. Always remember that. But about that, Project Veritas has uncovered some nonsense when it comes to ballot harvesting, right? Which is the ultimate in fraud, right? Is the great potential for fraud, right? Great potential for misrepresentation, right? And if you hold dear to that 12th Amendment, like I do, you would be appalled at everything that is happening with the mail, the mail being dumped in places and ballots being misplaced and people going around picking up other people's ballots and delivering them, right? Would you trust these people with $100 check to go deliver it somewhere for you? Your ballot is worth more than that $100 you're going to hand somebody, right? It's not just some piece of paper, right? That piece of paper that you dot that stuff in, right? That piece of paper that you dot in is worth more than that $100. This is your life. This is your life. And I don't understand how people don't take voting that seriously. This is your life you're dealing with. Local level, state level, federal level. This is your life and liberty. You're just willing to just hand over to other people, get a convoluted chain of custody, right? But before we get to the actual story, and there's some other stories I'm going to show you also in this, make sure you go over to donate.bpmg.us. That's donate.bpmg.us. That takes you to our Patreon, where we have some other things going on in BPMG. You see there's a $5 option, a $10 option, and a $20 option, and you can go through the options that we have there and see what's most suited for you. I do legislative blogs, vlogs, not blogs, but vlogs over there, or video blogs over there of pieces of legislation that I think are important or potentially liberty constricting, or could be, if used improperly, could damage a whole lot of Americans in a financial way or a freedom type of way. And there's also an exclusive podcast over there called The Constitutionalist Quill that I go in and I break down all of the clauses and articles of our said United States Constitution and the history behind those. So make sure you go over there and check that out. That's donate.bpmg.us. I would greatly appreciate it. So Project Veritas went into Minneapolis. I don't know how long ago it was. It doesn't matter, but it's here. The facts are here. The video's here. There's no denial of this, that people going around just snagging up ballots from the elderly. And we've seen other videos of that happening. And, they were always in question because, one incident, it is enough, but we need more video evidence or audio evidence of these things happening so we can get a clamp on it and hold particular individuals accountable for that. So let's get into the content real quick here. This story is actually in the National Pulse. Okay, and you see the title, "The Watch Cash for Ballots Voter Fraud Scheme Linked to Ilhan Omar Supporters," says Project Veritas. So I'm not going to read the article, but I do have the video here for you guys. We're gonna look at the video together here, and we're just gonna roll out. Then I'm gonna comment after parts of the video. So just hang loose here with us and just take a good quick listen.
James O'Keefe here in downtown Minneapolis at the scene of the crime. The person you're about to meet, Liban Mohammed, aka King Liban 1, boasts about the hundreds of absentee ballots in his car. This video is one of the first of its kind. A man self-incriminating himself, bragging about all the illegal ballot harvesting that he does.
Money is everything. Money is the key in this world. If you ain't got money, you should not be here, period. You know what I'm saying? Lacag is everything. Campaign lacag baa wata. $200 iyo $100 oo xali ayada iyo awooga iyo aska soo qaadeen. You cannot campaign that. You gotta have an investment to campaign. You gotta have a fundraisers. You gotta have what you gotta have the whole team. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Wajida gaariyaygu waa buuxa. Waxaas waa absent ballot salka yaala. Soo ma jeedin. Fiiri. Waxaas oo dhan soo ma jeedin. Waa buuxa gaariyaygu. Waa buuxa yaala. Waxaas kullu waa Jamaal Cusmaan way. Fiiri. Fiiri. 300 kaliya maanta soo dhacday oo Jamaal Cusmaan. Ya. Ciidamada hogaaminaysa Aamino maxaa leedahay? Waa lagu kala baxay Soomaa meesha. Aad weyn. waa generaalada ciidamada hogaaminaysa weeye sida ay ula socotaan ilaahay haata shaqadu waa socotaa adeer saak 6 baan bilownay ilaahay haatana waa wadnaa waa noo jeedaa saacadana waa u jeedaan waa ay horeysa saacadayda oo bixinay.
Y'all see this? This is absolutely crazy, y'all. You see this?
2 in the morning, still hustling.
I think he was both Ilhan Omar and Jamal, but I think he was more with Ilhan Omar. My name is Omar, O-M-A-R, Jamal, J-A-M-A-L. I'm right now part of the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, but also I'm the chair of the Somali Watchdog Group, and I have been involved in the community for the last 20 years.
Omar Jamal is the latest brave Project Veritas insider to come forward and expose a voter fraud scheme in Minnesota that will shock you.
Well, I want to be part of this investigation because of ongoing election fraud that we feel that we should bring to the attention of everyone. Therefore, chances are we can do something about it.
When we spoke with Omar Jamal, he actually repeated our PV insider motto, be brave.
Do something about it.
Omar Jamal secretly recorded conversations with the players involved in the voter fraud scheme to expose the criminal behavior he says is victimizing his own community and the integrity of the election process.
Liban didn't get it in a unique way. He just get them the way that everybody before him, or even maybe even after him, will do, which is go to the elders, probably maybe pay them and collect, help, to their man. He's helping them. So I think that's the process of collecting from the seniors from their buildings.
There was video. You can see the video. There was a video out and about that he has the ballots in his car. Right. And talking about the only way you can win is with money.
She uses money, and he's one of many people. He's not the only one who works for her. he was talking to his opponents and other people, saying that, you know what, here we are. You know, he was just boosting. You know,
he said, "I have 300," and he had them in his hand. Got it right here,
like a cash, like cash. So, question: have you ever asked yourself, how did he get them?
Yeah, how did he get?
I can't play any more of that video. I can't. This is completely disgusting. This is completely and utterly disgusting to see this. And there's no telling how long this has been happening in Minneapolis. But there's people in this country that don't take our voting and our elections seriously enough. They don't really take, they're not serious. They are not serious at all. They're all in for mass mail-in voting and try to compare absentee balloting to that. And they're two different concepts and processes. But they want to confuse the American people on how to vote and using COVID as that horse to drive that point home. And it's a serious question for people that are all in for universal mail-in balloting. Do you not care about your rights? Do you not care about the 12th Amendment? Do you not care about the integrity of our elections, especially after y'all sat here and asked Donald Trump, would there be a peaceful transfer of power? How about the transfer of power of your ballot from one person's hand to a non-elected official's person's hand? How about that power? Let's address that power a second. You really trust people coming around picking up people's ballots? I mean, you seen the guy had a handful of 300, right? And there's more than him just doing this. I mean, think about this a minute. Our last election in 2018, right, that had Mia Love against Ben McAdams here in Utah District 4, right, was decided in under less than 2,000 ballots. Think about that. And this guy here sitting here running around with just 300 ballots just hanging out in his car. Got ballots in his hand at 2 a.m. in the morning. You know how quickly that can sway an election, especially a local election. Like, I'm serious. The people that are all in for this mail-in universal voting and all this stuff, are you guys really serious? Like, you can't be serious about universal mail-in balloting and believing that there's a minute % chance of fraud. Are you kidding me right now? I'm sorry. You got to be on another planet somewhere to think this. You have to be. Yes, I'm laying an indictment down right now. You have to be absolutely out of your mind if you're okay with the chain of custody of an election goes through multiple people. I mean, I've gone over this before, right? Let's follow the process a second, right? The ballot gets sent out by the clerk or your county elections office, right? That's one. It gets sent to the post office, right? And it's sorted. There's, that's two. That's 2 points of contact. I'm not even counting the people in the mail facility. The mail carrier gets it. That's 3, right? That's 3, okay? Mail carrier puts it in your box. You have it. You send it back. And it doubles back. So you have the chain of custody of your ballot. 6 times. The chain of custody is six different points of contact. Now, I know the dissent is going to come still, like, well, all other mail goes through. Yeah, but explain to me how people found mail in a ditch in Wisconsin, or absentee ballots were thrown out in Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, or the moving truck, U-Haul truck, or whatever kind of truck in California just dumped out mail in the back of a building somewhere. Or wait, let's talk about the guy in West Virginia, in Beckley, West Virginia, that decided to change the registrations on people's mail-in registrations in West Virginia, and he's gone to prison for it, right? How about that? I mean, you guys cannot be that serious to think that mail-in voting is foolproof when the chain of custody is more than the person and the clerk. I mean, anybody with common sense would know this. You can't be kidding me on this, right? I mean, me personally, I don't actually mail in my ballot or any of that. I just look at it like it's cool and this sits on my desk and I go vote, right? Even during COVID here, right? Even during COVID here, what they did was they had it set up where you would go get your ballot. I'd even used a mail-in ballot. I went and got my ballot. I filled it out in my whip, and I drove down. To the city because all the mail-in balloting boxes were at the city halls. I went in and dropped my drone right in there and rolled out. I know there's only one chain of custody, and if my ballot changes for whatever reason, I know it had to be one or two people, and it wasn't me, right? That's the best security you can have, right? So I'm just saying, you guys can't be serious in thinking this mail-in balloting and the chain of custody, the long chain of custody, cannot breed or ooze corruption. You just can't be that intellectually dishonest to believe that. And I'm being dead serious when I say that. I'm being dead serious. You can't be. Because the freedom of America, our freedom, our individual rights are at stake. It's that serious. It is that serious. And if you don't take it that seriously, then more power to you. But I do. So, but let's continue. Tyler Gavin, let's continue. Now, after all this has came out, Mr. Donald Trump demands the USA's conduct an investigation into Ilhan Omar following this report of Project Veritas. He wants the Justice Department to investigate. Let's read. President Trump took to Twitter just after midnight on Monday and demanded that the Justice Department investigate Democratic House Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota for alleged ballot harvesting. This is totally illegal, the president tweeted on Monday morning. Hope that the U.S. Attorney of Minnesota has this and other of her many misdeeds under serious review. If not, why not? We will win Minnesota because of her and law enforcement. Save Minneapolis and Iron Ore Range. Okay, so we continue on with the story a little bit here. Sorry about this, guys. Trump was reacting on Monday to a confirmed internet report from conservative provocateur. He's not a provocateur. See how they're trying to frame this story? He's a provocateur. If he's on the right and he's doing investigative journalism, he's a provocateur. I mean, come on, people. Really, seriously? You're trying to just frame this up? This is just so obvious of the media. This is so obvious, right? James O'Keefe of Project Veritas claiming that supporters of Omar were illegally harvesting ballots. According to O'Keefe, a Minneapolis resident, Liban Muhammad, illegally collected some 300 ballots from primarily Somali immigrants to help his brother, City Councilman Jamal Osman. On Twitter, Muhammad claimed O'Keefe's doctored the video, and the voice heard on the Project Veritas is not his, as is claimed. Omar is one of 4 Democratic congresswomen who collectively, as the squad, who has frequently been targeted for criticism by the president and his supporters. And others are House Reps AOC, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley. you see how they're trying to frame this, right? You guys see how they're trying to frame this, because they're trying to make investigative journalism not sexy, right? Where, I mean, the videos don't look doctored, and you had the guy working out of Ramsey County Sheriff's Office on the video. I mean, seriously, and he verified that that video was basically legit. You saw it just like I did. You guys just saw that video just like I did. It's legit, man. When are we going to take this seriously, people? When are we going to take this really seriously? I mean, real talk. When are we going to take this really seriously, right? On this, but see, with this, over in North Carolina, I wonder why it's not coming up. Over in North Carolina, you had members of the elections board actually resign over changes to the mail-in ballot law just before the election. Let's read into this a second, because this is pretty juicy. And what it says, ballot harvesting is the practice of allowing political operatives and others to collect voters' ballots and turn them in mass to polling stations. A pair of state election board members in North Carolina resigned this week after a lawsuit settlement pushed by the Democratic-controlled board that would tweak absentee ballot law to make ballot harvesting easier. Ballot harvesting, or the practice of allowing political operatives and others to collect voters' ballots and turn them in mass. These ads keep popping up. I'm sorry, guys. This is going all kinds of cuckoo. In mass to polling station has drawn bipartisan concerns of fraud from election watchers. Ken Raymond and David Black were the only two Republican members on the board that has been split 3-2. Notice of their resignations were submitted Wednesday night. Raymond, in his resignation letter, said State Attorney General Josh Stein's office kept him in the dark. God, people, I'm sorry, y'all. This thing just keeps going. Now I'm getting ads popping up everywhere. My geez. They just don't quit, do they? There we go. So let's go down. Let's go back down here. He says in his resignation letter, said Attorney General Josh Stein's office kept him in the dark on the details of a lawsuit the board voted unanimously to allow its counsel to settle last week. It is impossible to have true bipartisanship when both sides of the political aisle do not have the important and vital information needed to make the right decisions, Raymond said in his letter. In Black's resignation letter, he did not accuse the Attorney General's office of withholding information, but said he was not made aware of at least one key element of the settlement proposal, how it would change the process of correcting and accepting mail-in absentee ballots that arrive without a witness signature. State law requires that signature, and without it, a voter must cast another ballot to have his or her vote count. The proposed settlement would allow a voter to sign an affidavit foregoing a witness signature. It was not my understanding that a cure would simply mean an affidavit or cure document. I mean, this is getting completely and utterly crazy. Like, it's like they literally want to rig this, and blame Donald Trump in the process, y'all. I mean, we got to stay vigilant in these things, right? I mean, I don't even know what to think at this point about this whole thing. I'll be honest. I mean, constitutionally, we have to have the election, but you know what? On my mind, I'm thinking we shouldn't even need it. I should say shouldn't need it, but we shouldn't do it until we know the election process is secure. That's honest. Because how do we know it's going to be fair? And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on in this situation. How do we know it's going to be fair? I mean, I can just imagine a lawsuit's going to come out of this. If one or the other side loses, I can imagine the lawsuits coming and coming fast and furious. I mean, Joe Biden already has 700 lawyers on deck already, just in case. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave y'all thinking about what you just saw, right? And I'm gonna say this: people are saying or asking President Trump if he will leave peacefully if he doesn't win the election. And I'm going to say to those same people that ask him that question, why are you telling Joe Biden not to concede if he loses? I mean, again, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. It's got to be one way or the other. You got to choose one. Stand on principle or stand on fault lines. That's the only way I can look at it. Because you're playing a dangerous game here, people. You're playing a dangerous game. So make sure you're securing your individual rights, your ballot. Cast your ballot like it's your life. Every time you cast that ballot, it's your life. It's your liberty at stake. Every time you toss that ballot in. And you need to treat it as such as every single time. Because if you don't, they're going to circumvent it. They're going to undermine it. And then take your liberty away from it in the process. Until next time, people, I'll leave you with that.